we are going to try a word problem today. We are still sticking with our multiplication for now, but let's see if we can do this with a word problem. So your word problem today is you decide to go to the movies and spend $10 on a movie ticket. If you paid $15 total and purchased 4 snacks, how much was each snack? So we need to think about this problem and think about what is the important information. So the first thing that we know is that we spend $10 on a movie ticket. Next thing was that we spent a total of $15. And if we only purchased 4 snacks, how much was each snack? So if we're going to write a problem like this, we're going to write down our important information. So our important information is that we spent $10 on a movie ticket, we spent a total of $15, and then we purchased 4 snacks. So I'm going to write down a problem that represents this word problem. So what I've done here is I've written down what our problem should be. I have my $10 that I spent on the movie ticket, I have the total of $15 that I spent, and then I have the 4 to represent the number of snacks that I purchased. So going forward from this, I'm going to solve this by getting s, my variable, by itself. So what I do is I put my line right down the center, I separate my left and my right side of the equation. And remember, in order to solve this, I need to use inverse operations. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my problem and see what can I do to get s by itself. So I want to get this term by itself first, so I need to get rid of this positive 10. We get rid of a positive number by subtracting. So I'm going to do it on the left, and then I'm going to do it on the right. My 10s should cancel out. I'm left with 4s on my left-hand side, and then 15 minus 10 is 5. At this point, I have 4s by itself on the left-hand side and 5 on the right. But remember, my goal is to get s by itself. And as we discussed last week, when I have 4s, what that means is 4 times s. And in order to get rid of multiplication, I have to divide. So I'm going to divide it both on the left and on the right. So s should equal 5 over 4. But when we're talking about money, that doesn't really work. So I'm going to have to do some long division here. I'm going to have to figure it out. So I'm going to go through the steps. I'm just going to quickly run through the problem, and then you can see my work, and hopefully you do the work as well. So at this point, I had to put a little decimal there because I know that it's going to be more than 5. I need to keep going past that. So I'm going to continue my work, and let's see what we get. So if you notice right before that, I did make a little mistake. I just got rid of that. I know I put the 0. I'm going to put it on the lack of, just not being in school right now. But I found out that 4 actually goes into $5 1.25 times. So when I think about in terms of money, what that means is that each snack is $1.25. So hopefully this helps you with your word problems this week. Just work on setting them up, and then it's just like what we did last week. We got to get rid of our number and then divide by whatever number is next to the variable. Hopefully this helps, and let's go to the next problem. So the next thing that we're going to be doing this week is working with division to solve these problems. Now, not much is going to change. I'm still going to use my opposite operation, so I'm going to put that line right down the center. Whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right. My goal is still to get x by itself. So the first thing I have to do is get rid of minus 6. In order to get rid of minus 6, I have to do the opposite. So I have to add 6 to both sides. So I'm going to add 6 on the left, and I'm going to add 6 on the right. My 6's should cancel out. I'm now left with x over 5. And that is going to be equal to 7. Now, last week, or even the problem before this, we were working with multiplication. In order to get rid of multiplication, we had to divide. Now, I'm dividing my variable. In order to get rid of division, I have to multiply. So whatever you're seeing, you just do the opposite. If you see division, you multiply. If you see multiply, you divide. For this problem, we are dividing. So to get rid of division, we have to multiply. So I'm just multiplying by whatever numbers in this denominator. So my 5's here will cancel out, leaving me with x. On the right-hand side, 7 times 5 is going to give me 35. So my answer to this problem is x equals 35. Now I know we might still be a little confused with this, so we're going to do another problem. So I want to write that up and we'll get started. So now we're working with this problem, and it's still kind of set the same way. I still have my variable. I used q this time. It's over a number. I'm either adding or subtracting. In this case, I'm adding, and then I am equal to something. nothing here is changing other than just what number and signs I'm using. So I guess in some sense, everything's changing, but it's still the same mindset. I get rid of the constant, and then I get rid of whatever is affecting my variable. So again, we put our line right down the center. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. I need to get rid of plus 2. To get rid of plus 2, I have to subtract. So I'm going to subtract from the left, and I'm going to subtract from the right. Now I know that we might get confused sometimes when we're subtracting from a negative. I like to think about it in terms of money. I know I've said this in class, I'm going to say it again. If you owe me $3 and you owe your friend $2, how much money do you owe total? If you owe both of us a total of $5, it's not necessarily the total money that you owe, but it's the fact that you are owing somebody. So you don't have that $5, and that's what makes it negative. So now we should have q over -4 equals -5. And again, just like our last problem, I need to get rid of this number that's dividing my variable. In order to get rid of division, I have to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -4. The reason I'm using the negative is because my bottom number here, my denominator, is negative. Now, just like our last problem, my numbers here should cancel out, leaving me with my variable. So I'm left with q. Now careful, remember a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So make sure when you multiply this, you get rid of your negatives. So then 5 times 4 is 20. Try your best with problems this week. Don't get too crazy about them. You guys know this, you've done it before. It's just online. You guys have all these tools at your disposal. You have YouTube, you have me, you have Khan Academy, you have calculators, you have your parents. Don't overthink it and get your work done.